Welcome back to Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Tuesday, August 21st, 2018. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. When you come up an inch short of your goals, you have one of two choices. Either you can curl up in a ball because you're spent emotionally from bleeding out your heart and soul, and it's still not enough, or you can decide to get your butt up and go back and do it again. And I'll leave it to you to figure out which one of those two camps Classic Physique All-Star Arash Rahbar falls into. With less than a month to go now before he makes the long trek out to Vegas for his third straight Olympia, the 2018 Arnold Classic runner-up looks to me like a man who's ready to settle the score on a little unfinished business. In my mind, when he's at his best, the level of detail that he puts into his presentation makes this guy one of the supreme talents in the division. So if he comes out ready to battle, plan on seeing some fireworks up there in that first call out. Are any of you guys out there old enough to remember that VH1 show, Best Week Ever? Well, come this time next month, how much do you want to bet that figure standout Bojana Vasiljevic is still riding the wave after the best Olympia week of her career? The word coming from my people near the Vasiljevic camp is that Bojana is well on her way to putting together the best look of her career for this year's contest, which should put her squarely somewhere in the top call-out range, according to my calculations. All year long, we've seen Bojana slowly start to build into this rolling peak that looks like it's finally coming to a head at the Olympia weekend. And given how strong her track record's been up to this point, I wouldn't expect her to start slowing down anytime soon. You know, somehow last weekend I found myself binge watching like 10 episodes of Shark Tank, mostly because I was fascinated by the irrational confidence that some people had with their terrible ideas. When you start looking around the 212 division, there aren't too many irrational confidence guys out there who can back it up quite like third-year powerhouse Ricardo Correa. Correa is coming into his second consecutive Olympia with some heavy expectations heaped onto his shoulders after last year's breakout top 10 performance. Something I'm sure the former British national champ doesn't mind one bit. When he's fully dialed in, Correa has one of those super round 3D bodies that almost makes him look like a cartoon character in some of his poses. With his high level of talent, if he comes even 2% better, that could be all it takes to jump him up a few spots in this year's stacked lineup. With the level of talent in some of these figure shows these days, sometimes it feels like if you show up being anything less than 100%, you're basically out of luck from the start. But luckily for Sandra Grajales, being the total package is something that seems to come naturally. Despite a little hiccup to start the season, for the majority of 2018, Grajales has been just about as close to perfect as it gets. And anyone who remembers that clinic she put on back in May to win the Pittsburgh Pro understands exactly what I'm talking about. Last year, Grajales and her 9th place finish at the Figure Olympia really turned out to be one of the pleasant surprises of the weekend. But by now, the rest of the division has her circled on their radar, so let's see what she's got up her sleeve for an encore. One of the coolest things about bodybuilding is that basically anyone can turn into a star on any given night if the universe aligns itself in their favor. And with less than a month to go now before he steps onto the Olympia stage for the very first time, I'm sure 212 hopeful Samir Troudi is keeping his fingers crossed from a little bit of help from somebody out there in Joe Weider's bodybuilding universe. The latest updates from the Troudi camp show the second-year pro looking as dangerous as we ever seen him. And if you can remember way back to the start of the season, Troudi really came out smoking with those 3 straight top 3 finishes in New Zealand, Fiji, and at the Arnold. And given the fact that he's had plenty of time now to get his mind and his body back to 100%, he's got a legitimate shot at a top 5 placing if things can manage to just align themselves, well, just perfectly. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.